Nolan McLean is about to change everything. Well, he was awesome and pitched another gem for the Mets to complete their huge sweep of the Phillies. McLean has been downright historic, and his emergence has come at the perfect time for the team. I am Adam Choit, your host for today here on Mets Digest, and before I dig in and all that, I just want to give you guys a quick heads up to please subscribe, because as you can see, nearly 68% of you guys watching these videos are not subscribed, so please just take a quick second to do that. It is appreciated for sure. Thank you. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. What a performance last night by Nolan McLean. His third career start. The Mets swept the Phillies. They're 4 games out of first place. What are they? 4.5 now ahead of the Reds in the wild card. So things are looking up for the Mets, and let's dive in on it. There's the result from last night. As you can see, a 6-0 victory for the Mets. It was an electric night out at Citi Field. And I just saw a stat earlier this morning before I recorded this video, seeing that the Mets actually outdrew the Yankees this past week and have outdrew them for some time in this month. So that's another little plus to see that the fans are out at Citi Field supporting this team. But there you can see the results here from the Mets Twitter X account. A beautiful sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies. And those are the current standings. As you can see, the Mets are 4 games back of the Phillies. As we work our way towards September, just 4 games left here in August for the Mets this weekend versus the Marlins, a big series out at Citi Field. And here you can see the wild card standings with the Mets 4.5 games ahead of the Reds, who've been getting beat up by the Dodgers these past few days this week. So that's been helpful too, giving the Mets a little bit of a cushion, some breathing room. The Padres are only 2.5 ahead of the Mets right now, so that's another thing to keep an eye on as the Mets look to continue climbing up the standings. And those are Nolan McLean's numbers from last night. Downright filthy, throwing 6 pitches, 8 innings. Not 6 pitches in the game, 6 pitches of 6 in terms of the variety of his arsenal, 6 pitches, but 8 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no earned runs, no walks, and 6 Ks. Just an electric performance by McLean. And you could see in the 8th inning how badly the team wanted to keep the shutout intact, as with first and third, both Soto and Nimmo launched throws from the outfield to home plate, attempting to cut down a potential tagging up runner, and they held him at third both times. So shutout intact, victory intact. Let's dive a little bit more into McLean's electric performances so far for the Mets. This is from Anthony DiComo from MLB.com, featuring a fastball that hit 96 miles per hour, a curveball that bent as tightly as any in the sport, and 4 other pitches he mixed in liberally over 8 innings. McLean flummoxed one of the NL's top offenses. After allowing 1 single to Alec Boehm in the 2nd inning, the right-hander retired 15 consecutive batters before permitting another base runner. McLean became the first Mets pitcher to earn a win in each of his first 3 appearances, something even Tom Seaver or Dwight Gooden never accomplished. In so doing, he gave New York the continued hope that it can make something of the season. So that's from Anthony DiComo. That's great to see. Jonah Tom, of course, coming up Friday, so a little bit of a youth movement coming to the team late here, and that's great to see. Seems to be injecting some energy into the roster, into the franchise, into the team, along with a exploding performing offense that's suddenly getting clutch hits in August. So combine that with some youth movement in the rotation, the Mets are starting to roll, and I am starting to get excited about it. So let's continue to celebrate Nolan McLean's emergence with the New York Mets. Let's just celebrate some of these great moments from last night and dig into some of the stats. Here you see from SNY, Nolan McLean getting his shower from Sean Manaea, his Gatorade shower, blue Gatorade, as he had his post-game interview on field. You can hear the crowd, of course, reacting with excitement to seeing that live. A great crowd last night at Citi Field. I can't repeat that enough. And here's a great shot from John DeMarsico from SNY. Of course, always doing a great job. The crew and team with SNY is the best broadcast in Major League Baseball, and this is just a cool shot of the skyline and the sunset and Nolan McLean's intense glare and stare. Superimposed on top of that, so just a beautiful shot that I thought was worth sharing. Definitely check out more of John DeMarsico's stuff on X, and you can see some of the highlights from the broadcast in terms of his visual highlights. Here you go. Here's David Lennon. The Mets batted .568, 21 for 37 with runners in scoring position during a 3-game sweep of the Phillies. I don't know if that is sustainable, but I definitely think that it's a great thing to see that the Mets are starting to hit with runners in scoring position, have been hitting with runners in scoring position, and just beat up the Phillies this past week. It was just a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. Kind of maybe even demoralize the Phillies to be honest. Here's another from Op to Stats. Nolan McLean of the Mets is the first Major League Baseball pitcher to have a 3-0 record, 20-plus innings, 20-plus strikeouts, sub-200 opposing batting average over the first 3 starts, his first 3 career starts since Randy Johnson in 1988. This dude is doing historic things. Nolan McLean is doing historic things. It almost makes me a little bit, word is not the right word for it, but Jonah Tong is a higher-ranked prospect than Nolan McLean. Jonah Tong had the most strikeouts of any pitcher in the minor leagues this past this season. So it will be interesting to see how he is going to match Nolan McLean's epic performances so far, his historic performances so far. I don't expect it, to be honest with you. I think that's a little bit unreasonable. We want Jonah Tong to perform well and do great, but to expect him to come out and match this, I think that's a big ask. But definitely exciting times for the New York Mets. These right here are Nolan McLean's stats so far. A little bit of a closer look: 3-0, like we mentioned, 1.1 WAR, .89 ERA through 3 starts, and a .69 WHIP. That is just ridiculous. We got 21 Ks in 20 and a third innings, more Ks than innings pitched. Just 4 walks, just 10 hits, just a couple of earned runs. Just beautiful, beautiful performances from Nolan McLean. Super exciting to watch him pitch. People were making some comparisons on the interwebs, talking about who Nolan McLean might remind them of. I saw some Maddox drops. I saw some David Cone drops. I saw some Max Scherzer drops. Scherzer's not a bad comparison, and Cone in terms of those. In terms of the movement, a lot of McLean's pitches have a lot of movement, no matter what he's throwing, be it the sweeper or his two seam fastball. Just getting a lot of great movement and just electric stuff so far from him. He hasn't even had to really throw, high 90s. He's not throwing 100. It just goes to show that if you have command and you have great stuff, you can be successful in the major leagues. And to even see him, throughout the game last night, and they mentioned this on the broadcast a couple of times, how he would get frustrated when he would throw a ball, and he did not throw very many of them in last night's game. It was a ridiculous strike-to-ball ratio. Of course, no walks in the game as well. He's a perfectionist in all the best ways out there on the mound. Here's some NYM stats. Nolan McLean became the first Mets pitcher in franchise history to begin their career 3-0 in their first 3 games. Yeah, just can't reiterate the historic nature of that accomplishment enough. And it's maybe a surprising one that has never happened with the team being in existence since 1962, but it has not, and now it has. Here's from Mike Mayer. List of Mets pitchers under 25 years old with back-to-back starts of 7 innings, no walks, and at least 6 strikeouts. McLean, Syndergaard, Isringhausen, Dwight Gooden, John Matlack, and Tom Seaver. Not a bad list at all to be a part of. We can split hairs when it comes to the career trajectory of Noah Syndergaard and how his career played out. Of course, Jason Isringhausen had a little bit of a longer career, of course, as a successful closer in baseball. But there's stat after stat, anecdote after anecdote just seems to be coming out today about just digging deeper into the historic nature of Nolan McLean's beginning of his career so far. Just super exciting to see. Super great to see. Good stuff all around. But what do you guys think? Is Nolan McLean a star? Is he a superstar? Is he going to be one of the best? He looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball already. But what's the ceiling for this guy? What's the ceiling for Jonah Tong? What's the ceiling for the 2025 New York Mets? Will they win the division? Can they win the division? Can they go further this year than they did last year? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and let's go Mets.